Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz for the first review of the one-day international between Australia versus India. Well, the Australian team just continue their winning form, racking up 25 consecutive ODI wins. Won the toss, didn't hesitate in putting India into bat. India only managed to score 225 runs and losing 8 wickets, and that was certainly not going to be enough against this quality side. Mithali Raj was a standout, 63 runs, but also 2 debutants looked pretty good in the middle. Yastika Bhatia 35 of 51 and Richard Ghosh 32 not out of 29. As for the Australians, well, Darcy Brown picked up 4 wickets to be the youngest Australian bowler, male or female, to pick up a 4-fer. And also Hannah Darlington making her debut, picked up 2 for 29. In reply, Australia looked at ease. Alyssa Healy started off as the aggressor, 77 off that amount of balls. Rachel Haynes 93 not out and Meg Lanning 53 not out. Chased the runs in the 41st over, losing only 1 wicket. So where did India go wrong? First and foremost, they didn't score enough runs. So when you look at that again, what were the causes for that? I think it was losing wickets in clumps. They lost both their openers around that 30-run mark. Then just as Mithali Raj was going to explode at the back end and done all the hard work, she got out in the 38th over, and from there India lost 3 for 12, which meant you always had new batters coming in at that point of time. So that is not the ideal situation for India when they're trying to post a big total. Mithali Raj scored 20,000 first-class runs, which is an amazing feat in itself. But there tends to be question marks, doesn't there, about her strike rate. What I will say in defense of Mithali Raj is that she needs someone else around her to go. Harmanpreet Kaur didn't play due to an injury, so she felt that probably the middle order was quite young. She needed to stay there till that 40th over and then maybe put her foot on the accelerator. Smriti Mandana, we haven't seen the best of her yet for a little while, consistently at this level. Shafali Verma, she's a youngster, we know what she can do, so we take what she can give us. The only thing I will ask about Mithali Raj is that I want to see her at that number 3 position. That is her best position to bat. That's where she scores 100. She gives herself more time. So I don't see the hesitation in bringing her back up to number 3. That's where your best batter should always bat. As for India, the positives out of that, like I said, Yastika Bhatia, she batted well, Richard Ghosh, but also the partnership with her and Julian Goswami. It looked like it was a new track. And at one stage, India weren't looking like they were going to get to 200, and they managed to get to 225 because of that partnership. For the Australians, well, the things that worked well was the fact that despite bowling 19 wides, they still were able to keep India to a really modest total. Just shows you that they've got the firepower, and the fact that Megan Shute and Jess Jonathan weren't part of this side meant that other bowlers had to step up. And the Hannah Darlington, the Sophie Molyneux, who already picked up 2 wickets, and obviously Darcy Brown with the 4-fer, means that Australia can breathe a little bit easily, knowing that they've got this type of talent coming through. Elise Perry was probably the only one that didn't quite hit her mark with the ball in hand, but no doubt a player of her experience and calibre will be able to find ways to bounce back come game 2. In terms of Australia and chasing, I thought actually India, through Julian Goswami and the 3rd debutant for India, Meghna Singh, bowled well with the new ball. They actually kept the Australians pretty quiet. However, Rachel Haynes and Alyssa Healy do run well between wickets. They drop and run and get up the other end really quickly, and the right-left combination does work. But once the ball stopped swinging, and talking for the Indian bowlers, that's when the Australians jumped on it, especially Alyssa Healy, who pounced on anything short. I think majority of her first 30 to 40 runs came on the leg side playing the pull shot, so Indians need to be able to put the ball a little bit fuller. I know that she can go through the covers, and that's what she did at the back end of her innings, but you've got to allow, whilst the ball is swinging, to create some chances behind the wicket. The other fact that India need to consider is if you haven't scored the 225 and if you haven't picked up wickets early on, how can you be aggressive with your field placements? How can you create a chance when there's actually nothing happening in the pitch? That's going to be the real question for India as they progress through this series, because I would expect the conditions to be more bat friendly than bowler friendly. So Indian bowlers need to outthink the Australian batters. And when you look at that batting order, we've spoken about it, it's pretty impressive. So India lose the first game. They're behind on the point system, already 2 points to Australia, no points to India. They need to ensure that they learn lessons really quickly. They've got to score more runs. You feel like India want to chase, but if they're thrown in the deep end and they have to set, they have to almost have little targets that they hit. And if that means Mithali Raj has to put the foot on the accelerator a little bit sooner, or the fact that she has to bat 3, or you have to expose someone like a Richa Ghosh, who I think should be batting at 5 ahead of Dipti Sharma and even Pooja Vastrika. Those type of players are used at the ladder. They need to find a comfortable 4 or 5. Fingers crossed Harmanpreet Kaur is fine, yet she hasn't been in form of late either. So, a few questions for the Indian side, because I get a sense this Australian team, they wouldn't be happy with that victory. Still plenty of things for them to work on. So they're only going to get better. Make sure you stick around on Cricbuzz, because I'm going to also preview the second one-day international.